Andy, 3 points today for Rangers, a crucial 3 points, but let me throw some of the comments at you that we've had from fans already today. Sandy Maxwell, today's win was totally papering over the cracks. We are chronic. Ryan, today's display was extremely poor. Fresh ideas and management required. Going absolutely nowhere under Clement. And Stu says, sorry, Phil, the 3 points isn't enough to paper over any cracks. That was abysmal. Is that fair, Andy, after today's performance?
Listen, it was far from sparkling performance. It was, pretty drab, one-paced, all the sort of things we've been saying about Rangers for a wee while now. Just kind of ironic that Cyriel Dessers, who got the most lukewarm of welcomes when he comes on at half-time, really came up with the one bit of quality that they showed in the second half to get them the goal that gets them the points. But listen, you're right. I think the fans are right as well. This is not a performance that's going to convince many folk that this is the Rangers team heading certainly in the sort of direction that's going to suggest they're going to be title challengers. It's a huge testing coming up on Wednesday at Pittodrie, but on form you've got to say that Aberdeen are favourites because they're playing well. Where this Rangers team are struggling. I think the thing that surprised me most was that you saw on Thursday night against Steaua Bucharest the sort of template for how this Rangers team perhaps can get results and can impress, and it means them going out at full tempo, playing at a pace where they dive into tackles, they smother the opposition. If they give it away, they race to get it back, and they play the ball with a speed that really doesn't give the opposition a chance to sort of live with them really. But again, what you saw was this team going back just to being slow, pedestrian, just a bit mundane, and I think that's what you saw. A bit of the angst, a bit of the frustration coming in the second half, and I think they were kind of fortunate in the sense that they got the goal at a good time, because if they'd left it any later than that, I think you would have saw the nerves really come through in the atmosphere here. And obviously, as we know, a lot of times at this stadium, it sort of transfers into the team. And perhaps the lights might have went out in the title bid just as the lights have gone out in me. So, listen, they got over the line today, but as I say, whether that convinces many folk, I'm not sure it does.
I won't keep you much longer, Andy, before you get huckled out. But the other thing that I wanted to pick your brain over was James Tavernier. Obviously, he was left out the starting lineup today. Do you think do you think on Wednesday at least that'll stay the same?
No, I think you'll see him come back in for a little more of the reason that I think Rangers have got a real big sort of dilemma to certainly a big decision to make at centre back. Obviously, John Souttar was left out today on the advice of the physios. The just told us in the press conference that they weren't entirely sure that he would have got through this game today had he started without picking up an injury. He's not entirely sure whether or not he'll be fit for Wednesday. I think the decision needs to be made is over Robin proper. He got bullied at times today. He was, really had a torrid nightmare even up against Toyosi Olasanya, whose pace and strength just really gave him kittens at times. So whether or not he starts, I think there's some real doubt over that. We saw later on in the second half when James Tavernier did come on, he went into his normal right back slot, and Nana Casaviro, who'd sort of started there, was shifted inside, and for the first time in the game Rangers looked a wee bit defensively solid in that centre back region, because before that, had it not been Leon Balogun sort of bailing out Robin Proper a couple of times, Rangers could have been in real trouble. So listen, James Tavernier, that was the first league game that he's not started since Tynecastle on, was it the 14th of May 2022, 4 days before the team went to Seville. So clearly that tells you about just his importance to this team. Okay, I don't think he's had a great start this season. Obviously his goals, his finally the remarkable scoring run he's been on is sort of, they've dried up a little bit, but he's I think for all his experience, he'll be one of the. Obviously, he's a captain. I think he literally will be the first name in the team sheet for Wednesday night up at Pittodrie. But I think what they do at centre back will be interesting. It wouldn't surprise me at all, just based on the way that Casaviro sort of showed in that last 20 minutes there. It wouldn't surprise me at all if John Souttar's not fit. He's the man that's partnering Leon Balogun.
That's an interesting one. I mean, Casemiro looks like a really good player, but I don't think there's anything controversial by saying Rangers' best two centre-backs right now are Suter and Balogun. Do you think that's fair enough?
No, absolutely. I mean, I think, as you saw today, Balogun sort of bailing out proper on a number of occasions. I think you saw he come into the team on Thursday night after proper get injured at Kilmarnock at the weekend, and again Rangers just looked far more secure than they have done for a lot of times this season. Again, proper out at Rugby Park, had a torrid time in the Astros. So I think there's some serious doubts now amongst the fan base about whether or not he's the type of character or the type of player. Certainly don't think he's not quick. I think we've seen that already, and I think you're seeing signs that he's struggling to deal with the physicality here. So, I think that's a big decision for Philip Collins to make.
Andy, I will let you go before you're locked in for the evening. Thank you very much for joining us on the Hotline Live, and hopefully I'll speak to you before Wednesday's big game. That's going to be a cracker on Wednesday.
It should be, yeah. Thankfully, I'm off. I'm not making the run up, so Scott Burns can handle that one.
Thanks very much, Andy. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, pal.